The Crimean Peninsula, a jewel on the Black Sea, has long been coveted by empires. Its unique geographical position and natural resources have made it a focal point of military and economic interest for centuries. Its strategic importance was paramount in the 19th century, as it served as a critical juncture for naval and trade routes. The peninsula's location allowed for control over the Black Sea, making it a highly sought-after asset. Russia, seeking warm water ports and influence, clashed with the Ottoman Empire, which controlled the Black Sea Straits. This rivalry was not just about territory, but also about dominance over crucial maritime pathways. Control of Crimea meant control of the Black Sea, a vital trade route and a gateway to the Mediterranean. This control was essential for any empire looking to expand its influence and secure its economic interests. The Crimean War, a brutal conflict fought from 1853 to 1856, would center around this strategic prize. The war saw unprecedented levels of violence and suffering, highlighting the peninsula's immense value. The Crimean War was a complex web of alliances and ambitions. It involved not just the primary belligerents but also drew in other European powers, each with their own stakes and interests in the outcome. Britain and France, fearing Russian expansion, joined forces with the Ottoman Empire to thwart Tsar Nicholas I's ambitions. Their involvement turned the conflict into a broader European war with far-reaching consequences. The stage was set for a clash of empires, a conflict that would expose the horrors of war and produce enduring tales of bravery and sacrifice, none more famous than the charge of the Light Brigade. This infamous military blunder became a symbol of courage and the tragic cost of war, immortalized in poetry and history. The Crimean War was not a sudden eruption of violence but the culmination of decades of simmering tensions. These tensions had been brewing beneath the surface, fueled by a complex web of political, religious, and territorial disputes. The Ottoman Empire, once a mighty power, was in decline, its vast territories tempting its ambitious neighbors. The empire's weakening grip on its lands made it a target for those seeking to expand their own influence and control. Russia, eager to expand its influence, saw an opportunity in the Ottoman Empire's weakness. Tsar Nicholas I was particularly keen on asserting Russian dominance in the region, viewing it as a chance to bolster his empire's standing on the global stage. Religious disputes over the Holy Land further inflamed tensions between Russia and the Ottoman Empire. These disputes were not merely about territory, but also about religious prestige and influence, adding another layer of complexity to the already volatile situation. France and Britain, wary of Russia's growing power, viewed these developments with concern. They were determined to check Russian ambitions and maintain the balance of power in Europe, fearing that unchecked Russian expansion could destabilize the entire continent. They feared that Russia's dominance in the Black Sea would threaten their own interests in the Mediterranean. Control of these crucial waterways was vital for trade and military strategy, making the stakes incredibly high for all involved. When Russia invaded the Danubian Principalities, modern-day Romania, a protectorate of the Ottoman Empire, the stage was set for a wider conflict. This invasion was seen as a direct challenge to the Ottoman Empire's sovereignty and a blatant act of aggression. Diplomacy failed to avert the crisis, and in 1853, the Crimean War began. The war would become one of the most significant conflicts of the 19th century, reshaping alliances and altering the course of European history. The Crimean War was a clash of empires on a grand scale. Britain, France, and the Ottoman Empire united against Russia, their armies converging on the Crimean Peninsula. The Allied forces landed at Sevastopol, the Russian naval base, determined to cripple Russia's Black Sea fleet. The siege of Sevastopol would become the defining battle of the war, a brutal and protracted struggle that would last for almost a year. The Crimean War was a stark contrast to the Napoleonic Wars, which had ended decades earlier. Gone were the days of grand armies clashing in open battles. The Crimean War was a war of attrition, fought in trenches and fortifications, with disease and privation claiming as many lives as bullets and cannonballs. The Battle of Balaclava, fought on October 25, 1854, was a pivotal moment in the Crimean War. It was during this battle that the legendary charge of the Light Brigade would take place, a testament to the courage and sacrifice of the British cavalry. The Battle of Balaclava was fought for control of the port of Balaclava, a vital supply line for the besieging Allied forces. The Russian army, seeking to break the siege of Sevastopol, launched an attack on the Allied positions around Balaclava. The British cavalry, including the Light Brigade, played a crucial role in repelling the Russian advance. However, a series of miscommunications and misunderstandings would lead to one of the most famous and tragic events in military history. Section 5. The Valley of Death. A tragic misunderstanding. The charge of the Light Brigade was the result of a series of tragic misunderstandings. Lord Raglan, the overall commander of the British forces, issued an order intended to prevent the Russians from capturing captured British artillery pieces. However, the order was poorly worded and open to misinterpretation. The order was relayed to Lord Lucan, commander of the cavalry division, who in turn passed it on to Lord Cardigan, commander of the Light Brigade. The order, as Cardigan understood it, was to charge down a narrow valley, flanked by Russian artillery on both sides, directly into the mouth of heavily defended Russian guns. Section 6. Lord Cardigan and Lord Lucan, a divided command. The miscommunication that led to the charge of the Light Brigade was compounded by the strained relationship between Lord Cardigan and Lord Lucan. The two men were brothers-in-law, but their personal animosity was well known. Cardigan, known for his arrogance and strict discipline, was a controversial figure. Lucan, while a capable officer, was also known for his aloofness and indecisiveness. When Cardigan received the order to charge, he questioned its clarity, but Lucan insisted that he carry it out. Whether Lucan himself understood the order or whether he simply wanted to assert his authority over Cardigan is a matter of debate. Regardless, the result was a catastrophic charge into the Valley of Death. Section 7. The charge begins into the jaws of death. At approximately 11:10 a.m. on October 25, 1854, the order to charge rang out. The Light Brigade, consisting of around 670 men, formed up and began their advance down the narrow valley. The Russian artillery, positioned on the heights on either side, opened fire, unleashing a deadly hail of shot and shell. The Light Brigade rode straight into the teeth of the Russian guns, their horses galloping at full speed. The ground shook beneath their hooves as they rode through a storm of fire and smoke. Despite the casualties mounting around them, the Light Brigade continued their charge, their courage and discipline unwavering. Section 8. Acts of Valor. Stories of courage under fire. The charge of the Light Brigade was not just a story of military blunder but also a testament to the extraordinary courage and discipline of the British cavalrymen. Individual acts of valor abounded amidst the chaos and carnage. One such story is that of Trumpet Major Henry Joy of the 8th Hussars. During the charge, Joy's horse was shot from under him. Undeterred, he retrieved his trumpet, mounted another trooper's horse, and continued to sound the advance. He rode back through the valley, under heavy fire, rallying the survivors. Joy's bravery earned him the Victoria Cross, the highest award for gallantry in the British Army. Section 9. The Aftermath, a heavy price paid. The charge of the Light Brigade lasted less than 20 minutes, but its impact was devastating. Of the 673 men who rode into the Valley of Death, only 195 returned unharmed. The Light Brigade suffered a casualty rate of over 70%, a testament to the ferocity of the Russian fire. The charge itself achieved little in strategic terms. The British cavalry briefly reached the Russian guns at the end of the valley, but were quickly forced to retreat. The charge of the Light Brigade became a symbol of both the horrors of war and the courage of the common soldier. Section 10. The Legacy, a testament to courage and sacrifice. The charge of the Light Brigade resonated deeply with the British public. The Times correspondent William Howard Russell famously described the charge as the most magnificent thing I ever saw, but it was not war. The charge was immortalized in Alfred, Lord Tennyson's poem, The Charge of the Light Brigade, which captured the heroism and tragedy of the event. The charge of the Light Brigade became a symbol of the bravery and sacrifice of the British Army, even in the face of overwhelming odds. It also highlighted the dangers of miscommunication and the importance of clear and concise orders in the chaos of battle. Section 11. Remembering the Charge, History's Enduring Power. The charge of the Light Brigade continues to capture the imagination over 170 years later. This event, immortalized in poetry and art, remains a poignant symbol of bravery and tragedy. It is a story of courage and sacrifice, of duty and devotion, where soldiers followed orders despite knowing the peril that awaited them. It speaks of the horrors of war and the enduring strength of the human spirit, showcasing the resilience and determination of those who fought. The story of the charge of the Light Brigade serves as a reminder of the human cost of war. It highlights the sacrifices made by countless individuals and the profound impact on their families and communities. The charge of the Light Brigade is a story that transcends time and place. It is a tale that resonates with people across generations, reminding us of the complexities and consequences of conflict. It is a story that reminds us of the importance of clear communication, decisive leadership, and the critical need for accurate information in the heat of battle. It also underscores the courage to question orders when they seem unclear or dangerous, highlighting the importance of critical thinking even in the most dire situations. Most importantly, it is a story that honors the memory of the brave men who rode into the valley of death on that fateful day in 1854. Their legacy lives on, inspiring future generations to reflect on the true cost of war and the valor of those who serve.